welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. I got a question asking me about how company drivers fuel. Some of them were concerned because they listened to a video and then assumed that meant that company drivers could be left out in the middle of nowhere, no fuel. I don't know how you come to that conclusion because I saw the same video and that's not what I got from it. But so I'm going to sit here and tell you what happens with company fuel routes, how we can decide the routes and that kind of thing. Now, first off, let's just throw this out here, okay? Prime is never going to let us run out of fuel. I'm never going to be stuck on the side of the road out of fuel. It's not going to happen. Second off, I usually keep between 1/4 of a tank and 1/2 a tank in the truck. Reason being is, especially in the winter time, when these roads close down, and I put it in my winter survival tips video, so if you didn't see that, go look at it, all right? You need the diesel in the truck to run our APUs, to run the bunk heaters, to be able to charge all your stuff. If you don't want to freeze in negative 40-degree weather sitting in Wyoming, then you need to have fuel. So, especially when it comes to winter, they're much more liberal with the fueling policy. With that said, are we given a fuel route? Yes. Let me see. I'm going to read it to you so that you can understand what it says. Authorized fuel locations using fuel level 182. It's using the fuel level I have in the truck at the moment. And what it's saying is that my truck has been averaging 8.75 miles per gallon. So it's guesstimating that I'm still going to be able to drive about that. So it knows how much fuel I have in the truck. The computer then searches for different routes. It looks for variable routes to get to my destination. So I was coming from Atlanta on this load. It says check your atlas for length and width restrictions, which means this is a recommendation. Okay? The computer route could sometimes be wrong. Make sure that you're reading your atlas. Make sure that there's no low bridge clearances. You know, all of this is your responsibility. And I often choose my route based on the weather, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But then it says Love's number 366 Jonestown, PA. You know, so, and it says exit 90, fill up, and it tells me the price. The price on January 19th was $1.84 a gallon. Okay. Now, one thing that Prime wants us to do is run this fuel macro every 12 hours. Reason being is that the prices often change after midnight, so we could get a better discount. It might send me to a different location. It's also using my average of my prior loads. My fuel bonus as a company driver is based on my miles per gallon. The less I spend in fuel, the bigger my bonus. That's what it comes down to, okay? They give me a part of their savings as my bonus. So I've made up to 8 cents a mile just on a fuel bonus in 1 week. My highest fuel bonus was $250. 1 week, $250. My fuel bonus average per week is usually about $100, something like that. So we'll go back to this, and if you look, it gives me the routing. Now, this is not some crazy routing that nobody else would do. You know, it's I-75, it's to I-285, it's I-85, I-77, I-81. So I'm on interstates the whole time. Even if you didn't have this routing, this is where I would wind up going for this particular load. And if you look down the bottom, it says total miles 809 miles. Okay, now my truck was full when I got this load. So my next fuel stop was not in Atlanta, Georgia, or anywhere on the way. It was all the way up in Pennsylvania, which is up near my delivery. And, you know, I only have one fuel stop. So this is something that other lease op people have told me in the past. Oh, well, I don't want to keep hopping from truck stop to truck stop. It doesn't really work like that. Sometimes, usually you get multiple truck stops on long loads. You know why? Because you have to fill up multiple times. You know, like if I was going to have a load that was like 2,300 miles, yes, they're going to give me all the fuel stops across that route. So I would definitely have to be filling up at least twice. Sometimes it will say, well, you don't have enough fuel to get to the location we really want you to go to. So like say this Love's right now that's in Jonestown, PA, it's $1.84. If I didn't have enough fuel originally to get up there, it might have said, hey, fill up 50 gallons or 60 gallons that would give you enough fuel to get up there and then fill your tank. Okay, now when I'm solo, I'm usually running 550 miles a day anyway, so I usually fuel every day. Something else that, you know, was stated and he was explaining in the video is that I do have to tell dispatch that I need reefer fuel. I never ask for truck fuel. I never ask for truck fuel. When it comes to reefer fuel, all I do is find the location code. I message dispatch. I just put, I'm putting on the screen. This is all the messages I sent to dispatch. GA428, which is the Petro station code in Atlanta. Reefer fuel, please. I sent that 1:13 p.m. Central. Okay, now 1:13 p.m. and I received 25 gallons is open, and it always gives us 4 hours of a window at the Petro in Atlanta, which is GA428. And that message came in 8 minutes after I sent my message telling them that I needed the reefer fuel. Now, guess when I sent that message? When I was sitting in the washout line getting the washout, because I needed a washout receipt for the customer that I was going to, and I needed to fill up that reefer. So it's not really a big deal to like message them and tell them I need reefer. And we even have a live person you can call. We have a fuel desk that you can call, and all it is, hey, this is Kears. I need reefer at the station code. Okay, thanks Harold, thanks Joe, that Catherine. I mean, we know them all. And then there's Sam, and we know them all. So it's not really a big deal. And it gets done. It's like usually you're sitting in line behind somebody at the fuel stop anyway, because people just block up the fuel islands. We all watch Bonehead Trucker, and that's what he does. He chases people at the fuel islands. So it's not really that big of a deal. And for whatever reason, I got a ton of questions about this by one little statement that somebody made, and it's just funny how people like ask about this stuff. So now the routing. Something I hear people talk about. I don't want to go company. I didn't choose company because I want to drive where I want to drive. I want to pick my own routes. Okay. So think about this. This computer does not take into consideration for these routes. It does not take into consideration weather. It does take into consideration tolls. So here's an example. Maureen and I were running all up in the Northwest. We kept running from Salt Lake City to Washington, back to Salt Lake City, back across, Wyoming. I went across Vail. We went back across. You saw the video of us at the Cabbage, okay? Now, last week, we were at Salt Lake City, and my fuel route was in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So it wanted me to go across I-80 and then down then I would have to go down to Springfield, because I had to drop that load off in Springfield. Okay, so it wanted me to go across Wyoming, fuel in Wyoming, then get down to Springfield. Now, I-80 had alerts up for like 2 or 3 days. Highway closed due to light trailers. It was up there for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It came off the alert at Thursday, 1700. I was not going to sit for 2 or 3 days with that load. It wasn't going to happen, okay? My fleet manager, a long time ago, made it very clear to me to do what I have to do to get the loads as fast as I can and be safe, communicate what I have to do. But when it comes to, oh, you're a company driver, so you can't pick your own route, that's not true, okay? I went from Salt Lake City down US 191, all the way down to 491, came out in Gallup, New Mexico, went across I-40, then went back up through Oklahoma to get to Springfield. Added 200 miles to my route. Shutting down for 2 days, which screwed me out of $1,400. It's like $702 a day or something. If we run 1,100 miles a day at 64 cents a mile, something like that, it comes out to $700 a day. That's $1,400. I'm gonna just say screw it and sit. No, not if I can help it. No. So if I ran 200 miles and it comes out to like 64 times 200 miles, I think, what's it come out to? Like $120, $125, something like that. Why would I throw away $1,400 for $128? I'm not going to do it. And Prime doesn't want me to do it. My fleet manager doesn't want me to do it. It's all about making sure that we get the customers' loads done. We do it safely. Going through bad weather is just a matter of it's not safe. So why would I do it? Now, something else that people ask me about are toll roads. In the Northeast, there are a lot of tolls. I live in the Northeast. I run the tolls. Okay. I've never had Prime come back and say to me, oh, you run too many tolls. Okay. Something that the Prime routing does a lot when you're going up I-95 through the Northeast is it tries to send you across the George Washington Bridge, which goes from New Jersey into New York. To me, that is way too close to New York City. I'm not doing it. I've never done it. None of my company driver friends ever go that way. That particular bridge is well over $100 in tolls. I think the last time I looked, it was like $115. And there's a bridge that's only 11 miles north of there. Used to be called the Tappan Zee. Now they changed it to Cuomo. But whatever. Okay. I think it's like $35. So, do you really think that if I took the $35 bridge instead of the $115 bridge, that somebody's going to come back to me and say, what the hell are you doing? We want you to spend more money on the other bridge? That's not going to happen. It does flash out of route in red on the screens. I think all this comes down to one thing that Driver Lineup said in his video. He said he rarely talks to his fleet manager. He does his job. He makes decisions on his own. He's left alone, and he has the freedom. Well, the truth of the matter is, it's like that for company drivers too. Okay? And that's not just a Prime thing. That's a pretty much industry thing. If you're a productive driver and they don't have to make the decisions for you and they don't have to sit there and, babysit you, why would they? Because they have some real bums. Every company is going to have bums. And when I say bums, and this is not Prime specific because any of you know, I've been on TruckingTruth.com for a long time and I've heard all these stories about how dispatch has to deal with some of these drivers. Here's an example. I know someone who had to have his load swapped 4 times in 2 weeks. 4 in 2 weeks, okay? Because if not, his load would have been late. The same guy was late twice in 1 month to Walmart. That's a big no-no. You know, Walmart's a huge account. You certainly don't want to be late for anybody. But our companies set certain goals, certain on-time delivery goals. And they have a percentage. And as long as that percentage stays as high as it needs to be for that contract, then we get we get better rates, higher paying rates, which allows both lease ops and company drivers to get increases. Because when the rate increases, the lease op that's getting a percentage is making more money. When the rate increases, guess what else? The company drivers, we wind up making more money because we get a annual raise pretty much, usually in the summertime, like June-ish. And then we also get a raise based on our individual miles that we've run. So, like when I first started, the pay start was 39.5 cents a mile. Well, now it's up to like 46 or 47 cents a mile for the condo, and another 5 cents a mile for the lightweight. So, with that said, all these different savings that we do, whether it be fuel or tolls or whatever, is going to affect all of us in, some way, shape, or form. If I don't look for the cheaper places to fuel, which is not that hard. If I go out a route, like I was talking about, I went down, I didn't want to go through Wyoming. So I knew when I got to Gallup, New Mexico, I knew it was going to fuel me at the Flying J at exit 39. I think it's Jamestown. Okay. Any of you lease ops out there who might be watching this, you know that place. Another place that likes to fuel us is either the Flying J or the Petro in Amarillo, Texas. Because those two are usually cheaper with our particular discount rates. And Prime does this thing where they do like a bidding war with the truck stops. So they'll go back to Petro and TA and they'll say, hey, Love's gave us this better discount last quarter, so what can you do to beat it? And that's how they get us free showers. They give us diamond status, and for a while we were getting 8 bonus points, 8 times the points for Flying J and things like that. So everything we do is going to play into making us more money, making our lives easier, but in no way, shape, or form, okay, are you going to be reprimanded for going 10 miles out of route or 60 miles out of route or anything like that when you're getting the load on time and faster? It's just like this load that I'm on, it has a lot of time on it. It's a drop and hook on both ends, and this is the load to get me home. I already dropped Maureen off. I went down to Atlanta, made a delivery, picked up a drop and hook there, and then I'm running this back to Pennsylvania. Well, right now I'm in Virginia, and I'm going to deliver this to Pennsylvania and then go home. So I had the ability to run this in really hard and deliver it tonight, or just say, you know what, I'm going to just take my time with it and deliver it the way I feel like it. So that's something else. Don't think that we have to take 10-hour breaks and then boom, 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 we have to go. Does that happen sometimes with the load? Sure. But there's also loads that I can be as lazy as I want to be. And with that, it allows us to decompress and relax and not get overwhelmed all the time, not get burnt out. I got asked, well, are you ever allowed to take more than 10 hours? Absolutely. Usually when I come off of home time, I don't drive more than 300 miles the first day. Just because I have to get back in the swing, and that's just what I do. Or I'll drive 300 miles and then I'll do like the 8 in the sleeper thing and then continue. That's just part of how I've worked this out. If say I don't feel well, I need extra sleep, I am always pre-planned. I always know where I'm going for my next load. I am never without a load, and I like it that way. I like it that way because I can plan. So, like, if I'm not feeling well, I want extra sleep, I want to go do laundry or whatever, I just tell my fleet manager before he gives me the next load and say, yo, put me off for a day because I need to go do this. Or put me off till tomorrow morning. Put me off till after midnight. So all he winds up doing is giving me a load with a wide window as a drop and hook to be able to go pick it up when I feel like it. That's how you do that out here without feeling as though you're like micromanaged or anything like that. I'm not micromanaged. I don't even talk to my fleet manager. I miss him. I hate that they're working out at home because of Corona. They're not even in an office. I haven't seen him in almost a year. I hate that. You know, Maureen, she'll tell you, we've only talked to my fleet manager twice on the phone since she's been here, and that's been September. So, you know, anything I ask for, it's 10-4 thanks Matt. That's the way it is. And even with home time, he says, what day you coming back? And I tell him 10-4 thanks Matt. You know, because he knows that I know where to drop the trailers off before I go home. He'll say to me, where are you dropping the trailer? And I'll tell him, you know, Ben Salem Yard or this particular customer, 10-4 thanks Matt. You know, but part of that is experience, and it's also trying to get the knowledge from the right people, experienced drivers, you know, and like, I'm going to put up Captain Banana's pay stubs because he's making a killing as a company driver in the Reefer division in the full-size truck. So thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, comment down below. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I hope to see you out here trucking along. Bye.